beautiful charge.
Whoa,
This is
what
fine. Oh my god, it's
Oh,
what a save,
that?
my guy.
Hello and welcome, everyone. The Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament. We've reached the lower finals of the Anno Division. I am Richard, and today I am joined by Trojan Dude 12 himself. How are you doing, Trojan?
Hey, I'm doing great, Richie. How are you doing today?
This is going to be a very exciting matchup. Roos coming from the upper bracket with a loss to Ronnie, and Sully making his way through the lower bracket. This is a match that you can't really talk about their seeds at this point because Sully has been improving like a beast.
Yeah, definitely. Going into the tournament, I don't think people were expecting the freight train that was Sully's improvement, and he's now gone down to a low 32 with his PV, and so they're kind of some combination of Ruse, Sully, and Smashy was going to be on a collision course, and now that we're in the lower finals, it's finally come to fruition between Ruse and Sully. As we get a load of the stats page right now, as you can see, Ruse's PB is a 31.52, and he's had it for a while. He's been really busy with school and work and stuff, so he hasn't had a bunch of time to practice. But in his D-Rust today, he did mention that he's been only getting 32s, which is very, very good coming into this race.
Yep, and to talk a little bit about Sully, not very far behind with a 32.05, only 13 seconds behind Roos, so this is anyone's match, especially since we've seen Sully basically being able to grind this game, unlike Roos, who's been very busy with some other stuff. Sully has been spending a couple hours every single day making sure that he is prepared to put on his A game in a race.
Yeah, definitely. And as you can see from the radar graph over there, I mean, Rouge just barely ekes out Sully in a lot of the categories, and about consistency, they're equal. Another thing that they're equal in is they run a Legend of Zelda game at 100%, or, well, Sully has done Ocarina of Time, and Rouge is planning on doing 100% Breath of the Wild. I mean, that's a feat in of itself.
Yeah, and to talk a little bit about this radar graph, this includes, earlier on in the tournament when Sully's PB was a 39 starting the tournament. So, maybe these averages might be a little misleading just due to the fact that, as they go through the tournament and improve, it changes a little bit. And we have both of these players now in race chat getting underway here. We're going to be starting this race off.
Yeah, definitely. And here we are with our beautiful overlay for the race, and we will be getting going shortly, and we are now off.
Yep, and with both of these players, the early game, not going to see a lot of deviation between them, but definitely hoping to see solid play throughout the beginning, because you can take some pretty nasty deaths if you're a little bit too hasty.
Yeah, definitely. Also, was the speedrun police coming after you, Richie? Did they know you're doing commentary?
Yes, these players are going a little bit too fast for our liking, so unfortunately, you might hear some of that, trying to tell them to slow down, but they're going to try their best to just keep going.
Well, in this race, that Rhino, the tutorial Rhino, is the speedrun police, but they dodge him, they get away, and now they're off to getting the first skill. You can see on the wheel down below. We'll have to see how they do as far as looking towards this Frankie fight. Some people shot pace, some people scroll wheel. That's always an interesting difference, and so let's see if either of them get a lead from the start.
Yep, and we're going to see both players, both of them are KBM runners, and they will be using the scroll wheel throughout this run, not only for the Frankie fight, but also throughout the beginning of the game here. As we see Bruce taking a little bit of damage on those brambles, both players will want to get themselves down to 1, but usually you don't want to take a hit there.
Yeah, Ruse getting a little bit of a better setup right there with the XP. Was they actually, it's always better if the XP goes up a little bit higher because it'll allow you to sneak under there and start jumping off the flower pad. Looks like both of our runners are at 2 HPs. That's really good. And neither of them are going to get a health drop. So that's really good for them. And Ruse, with a little bit cleaner movement, does end up taking a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, and talking about that cleaner movement, you know, Roos has been running this game 4 years at this point as Sully, you know, maybe not as comfortable with a lot of the movement, but Roos making it seem like just it's fluid movement.
Yeah, exactly. As both of them are opting to come up for the 4th health cell right there. Just added safety that you'll see a lot of runners take. And Ruse killing that Bramble. Actually, both of them picking up that extra little 2 bits of experience from that Bramble on the ground. Ruse does not kill the little slime right there. Hopefully the XP doesn't troll on the way out. Sully took a damage, so probably null and void here with how they're going to have to adjust.
Yep, both of these players going to be having very similar wall jump splits. Just to talk a little bit about their previous races, you know, they both gotten pretty low 320 times in this tournament, so you know, both on pretty good pace now coming into the wall jump area.
Yeah, looks like there's only a couple seconds. We'll get an official delta here once we get to the tree, but no major mistakes from either runner. Just a tiny bit of flub movement from Ruse because of that XP from slime he didn't kill. So looks like about 326 and a 327 respectively. That's really good, really solid wall jump times for both runners.
Yeah, and as both of these players go to Blackroot Burrows, neither of them leveled on the way down. They're going to be taking this XP and leveling on the way up. This is actually potentially a plan from both of them, as both of them have previously gone for the genocide route in Blackroot Burrows, which means your experience has to be pretty high going into the area.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple variations of it. There have been some variations where they'll get the 15 orb on the way out to skip over one of the slimes that's slightly slower, and some that will actually kill the full amount of 7 slimes inside. So we'll have to see. Neither of them so far taking a save. Okay, there we go. Slowly putting it down. Ruse opting not to, so very confident with his movement right here. And still really, really close at this point. Okay, there you go. Ruse and Sully both opt to go get that 15 XP. So both of them, they're not going to have any issue. And it looks like Sully had less brambles to kill. So Sully opens up a tiny bit of a lead. Actually, never mind. We're completely synced going into Blackroot.
Yeah, as both of these players menu at the same time, actually. It looks like Sully had a little bit of a flub there. So just losing ever so slightly, just a small bit of time against Ruse. But that really is kind of negligible at this point, as there is a lot of execution at Blackroot Burrows, and Ruse messing up his genocide route a little bit. This is maybe going to throw him off.
Yeah, definitely. Although he goes for a more aggressive descent right there, so makes up a bit of the time. But yeah, that's those are a little bit too impatient on getting the magnet, getting the XP magneted in. So let's see if he settles down a little bit going through here, because this game really punishes, you know, being greedy or being impatient at certain parts of it.
Especially for Ruse, so both players now jumping across these. So the important thing is they want to catch a cycle at the top of these lasers here. So we will see if both of them can get it.
Yeah. Oh, Sully, I think, messed up a tiny bit right there. Okay. Ruse is opting for a reload. I think they're going to be getting... Oh, that was... Huh. That was a really interesting point where that reloaded from. It was a little lower than I normally see.
It does look like both of them kind of messed up their movement there. Sully just opting to eat the cycle, and Ruse trying to adjust for it with the reload, but didn't actually... end up getting the optimal cycle there.
Okay. Both of them get that XP well, fine and good. Sully has opened up probably about a 4 to 5 second lead at this point. Let's see if Ruse makes that cycle, and he does. Very nice manips from both runners at this point. That can be really trolly, and if you lose it, you lose 8 seconds.
And for both of these players, they're going to be coming up on a cutscene skip here. There is basically 2 different ways for you to skip this cutscene. We will see both of these players go for what is known as the traditional cutscene skip, where they will wait for a cue for the orb to be moving up and skip the cutscene so that they don't have to do blind movement, which is a newer option, but a lot more risky, and it'll save maybe 1 to 2 seconds over this option.
Oh, did you see that? Actually, Ruse was out of energy because he put down that other save. So that's going to cost him quite a bit of time. That's at least a good 10 to 12 second time loss right there from Ruse's side. So that's going to give Sully a substantial early game lead. And, Sully being on this page should give him some confidence.
And hopefully for Ruse, he doesn't forget to level up any abilities. I would assume that he wouldn't do that, being the experienced runner that he is. But this is not ideal for him. Just he wants to make sure that he goes through this run, and he knows he can't give up much against Sully.
All right, so Ruse getting last bit of XP as Sully is starting Frankie Walk right now. Looks like, okay, the Frankie sometimes can get stuck under the log right there. Sully got really lucky because he was going for that kind of optimal setup right there, but it was a little too aggressive with it. Thankfully, no harm, no foul so far.
And we have word from the truck that Ruse has a dog and went under his legs and messing up his focus a little bit during that dash area. So we'll see how that affects him. Sully not opting to go for the Death Glide here in the Death Gauntlet. Just wants to make sure that he can get through cleanly, going down into Moon Grotto, as we'll see Ruse come through the Death Gauntlet here. Now I know he goes for the Death Glide, so we shall see if he tries to save a little bit of time on Sully here for that, and it looks like he does get it.
Yeah, very nice job from Ruse, but we're going to see Sully going for his Grotto skip right here. Setup looks good. Oh, but blocked by the crystal right there.
This opens up a nice chance for Ruse.
Yeah, very much so. That's very precise amount of movement, so that mess up can be null and void right here if he gets this cross cycle. Let's see, Ruse getting a nice dash setup.
Very
nice.
Ooh, wow. Okay, so Ruse catching up a fair bit of time there, making sure that his kind of mess up in the dash area is mitigated a little bit as both of them come into double jump here. Sully with a 1944, or 944, yeah, not 19.
Man, that's way later in the game, man. You're getting a little ahead of yourself, all right? No, but there was actually a little small death from Ruse right there. Only cost him a couple of seconds. But still, blind movement coming in about 15 seconds apart from Sully. So definitely caught up a little bit of time with that Grotto cycle.
Yeah, and as both of them go to their Grotto skips, this is kind of a testament to, the amount of time these players have spent playing this game. Sully, roughly 50-50, a little bit under 50% on this trick, but does get it first try, really nicely done. Ruse has not missed it yet.
Sully was a little tentative with his movement, though. He actually almost ran into some spikes right there. Let's see if Ruse gets it on first try. They did the same setup. No, unfortunately, Ruse did not get it, but gets it on second try. So still really good and had cleaner movement. So I'd say it's probably a wash.
Yeah, and so as both of these players come up to the Moon Grotto, we're going to see Sully on the right side here, going up the right side wall. And that is a little bit trickier movement than we see a lot of runners in this tournament. Sully's been putting in the time, making sure that he's able to get very nice and clean movement there. As you can see, Ruse on the left side going on that left wall. And missing this cutscene skip, actually, so losing a few more seconds.
Yeah, it's been kind of a back and forth with movement flubs. It's been seesawing pretty hard, more than you generally see on a kid's playground. And we'll have to see if that continues, because this is one of those areas that has a lot of micro optimizations, not so much crazy movement.
Yeah, a lot of time can be gained or lost with the movement up these walls in the grotto area, because having precise double jump movement up them is very difficult to do, as we see Sully doing a pretty good job there, and we'll see how Roos does climbing up.
Yeah, so gonna do a precise setup right here to get this ability cell. Really good job by Sully getting that pretty smoothly, and is, you know, putting out a really good performance so far. I mean, this is looking like it's going to be about like a 12:35 entry, which, you know, for his time is very, very solid. And I think with seeing that, he'll be in really high spirits. You know, Roos is, you know, despite the problems over in the dash split, has been keeping pace with Sully pretty well.
Yep. Word from the truck is that Smashy has cleared the dog from the room, so Roos going to be able to play unhindered from now. This unlocks a large amount of potential from Roos to be able to focus in on the game and make sure that he can just get, you know, nice movement and hopefully catch up sometime on Sully as they go into the Ginso tree here.
Yeah, well, it's safe to say that we won't have to have any more pause about any dog problems for the rest of this race.
Oh my
God. So Roos entering right now. Sully's going through the game room, gets this nice cycle with the nice dash. Ooh, but takes a damage right there. Those spikes, they really do hurt. They're just as bad as the spikes on the walls. Oh, takes another hit. I think that one, and does not take a safety save. Very interesting, you know, choice from Sully.
And Sully showing, you know, his confidence in this game. Also going for the Mr. Asmus cycle. Unfortunately, he had to take 2 hits there, so he must have been at 2 health there and went to 3. Also putting on a color code here, getting a purple. That is not the color that you want, but fortunately, having enough time for another color code and getting a nice light yellow, that is actually kind of detrimental if you have a bad color. This is why we see some players not do it, as Sully goes into this mini boss.
All right, looks like you're doing some scroll wheel pacing right here. So far, so good. Might be on a setup for a 5 cycle. Has been getting the 8 shot, I believe so. So is he gonna get it? Yes, he does.
Sully
takes damage. Oh my good God, Sully! Please do not fall into the spikes again.
Oh jeez, that was scary. We'll see how Roos does on his mini boss fight here. So Sully had a nice 5 cycle, and Roos doing a pretty good job as well.
Yeah, I think Roos even got a 10 shot in there at some point. So yeah. I think he got a 5 cycle as well. So very, very nice, keeping pace with Sully.
Yep, both of these players coming into Bash here. Pretty good timing from both of them. Sully with a 1944, it looks like. Roos going to be taking it closer to 15 minutes, but you know, this 15-second lead can change a lot, especially with Key Dupe coming up next, which was something that I believe Sully had a little bit of issues with previously.
Yeah, we've generally seen Key Dupe as a point in a lot of races in this tournament, where you know, this movement with the puzzle room and then the ensuing setup for the Key Dupe has been a problem for some people, and some lead changes have occurred from it. But Sully does get the good setup, opting for an interesting save on the far left. I'm unsure. Normally you see people do it farther to the right, but it's probably just, you know, a personal safety thing that he goes for. As Roos also goes through the redirect room very cleanly and is heading up for his Key Dupe.
Sully with a successful Key Dupe there. We will see how Roos does, saving on the top platform, as Sully did, but a little bit more to the right. Again, that saves just a little bit of time, and since he doesn't have to move to the right like Sully did. But Sully now coming into this mini boss, which is fairly trivial. So we'll see how, you know, as both of these players prepare for their swamp entry, we'll see how they do.
Yeah, definitely. Nice clean second mini boss from Sully. Roos has had, honestly, a very great start to spit. Does get the hyper speed as well. So, you know, I think is putting the pressure on Sully, having to force him to not make any mistakes at this point. And again, coming up on swamp entry, not shy of any crazy tricks in this segment, is going to see if this causes any problems for Sully.
Yeah, both Sully and Roos not having the best success with Swamp entry. Sully here going to be not avoiding this cutscene, so he's going to have the lasers play. This loses about a second over optimally skipping the cutscene, but you know, he's just going to be able to have this clean movement on the way in. He has a 53.8% success rate, so a little over half. We'll see if he has any difficulty here. He was practicing this before the race, and it seemed like he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, opting to not take a safety save closer to the oh, and a little bit of a problem with the double bash right there, and is going to go for another chance that it does get at that time. Oh, that's not a good angle, but nice correction right there. And Sully, okay, is going to leave the ability cell and is going to come back for it later.
Yeah, really nice adjustment from Sully there. We'll see how Roos does to gain maybe a little bit of time. Roos not having the same issue that Sully did, so he is now just breathing right on Sully's neck here.
Yeah, and did take the ability cell already. Oh, Sully, I was trying to double bash that, I think. Okay, interesting. I'm usually when people double bash, you do the whole time, so it does get a despawn as well. So Roos is quickly catching up right here, probably only about like, you know, 6 or 7 seconds.
He's been going for the damage boost there. Sorry to interrupt you, Trojan, but you know, Roos, knowing, you know, he just wants to claw back every bit of time he can, and that damage boost doesn't save a lot of time, but you know, he wants to make sure that going into this latter half of the game that he's able to, you know, be able to play as well as he can.
We also got an update from the truck. Sully at Stomp is only about 5 seconds behind his PB right now, so you know, Sully's been putting on a really good pace right now, and he's got to keep that up because of how Roos set up. But you know, I think he's might be building his confidence right now in general with the way that he's been playing.
Yep, and unfortunately, Sully here taking a little bit of a flub, and Roos is just right there right now next to Sully as they get this ability cell and go into Kuro cutscene skip. Both of them with a pretty successful rate at this trick. Sully with about 85%, Roos with 90%. We'll see if either of them miss it. It could cause a big lead change. Sully, nicely done, and Roos also very nicely done.
Very great job. Sully opted not for a safety save. Roos is, you know, with his experiences, opting for a save right there. So hopefully Sully doesn't have anything happen here with the spikes. And oh, that was so close to bonking, but just slides up the wall right there, gets the damage boost. So really great movement by Sully. It does open up a bit more of a lead with that movement.
Yeah, but this lead, you can't just sit on it, Trojan, because they are going to be, you know, executing some pretty difficult tricks coming up. And with an opponent like this, Trojan, you know, if you were put in this situation, you know, kind of what would you be thinking about, you know, with a pace as good as what Sully has right now? You know,
I mean,
9-second difference right now. 4-second difference at Charge Flame.
I would definitely be getting more nervous at this point, and that's exactly why I personally don't ever watch the restream, because I don't want to know how close or they are to me. But you know, I think that this is getting to the point where it's becoming more and more of an issue for Roos. You know, it's like, okay, this guy needs to mess up. This guy needs to mess up, and you know, he's not really messing up in any major way.
Yeah, and they are, you know, only one major mistake away from maybe throwing the race here to the other player. But we'll see, as both of them are in the Stomp Peg cutscene at the same time. Sully with a double bash using this frog, as Roos also using the frog to get up, not with the double bash. So they are just so close to one another. Roos taking a little dip in the water there as they go to Stompless. Both players very successful with this trick. Around 90%, so hopefully we don't see any issues from them.
Yeah,
they are tied right now.
Yeah, they're literally synced up right now. I mean, I definitely don't adjust your monitors. This is not the same stream on both sides. So both of them are coming up to their fast stompless right now. Let's see how this goes. Sully sets up a shot, lets it fire. That shot looks good. Both shots look almost literally equal right there. And a good setup, good stomp stall from both runners. And wow, look at that. We're only about a second apart going into the feather cutscene.
This is insane. They're only a second or two apart. And, you know, these players really performing to their best to try to move on to face Ronnie in their division.
Yeah, funny thing that Roos said to me before, and he's like, "Well, I can either win here or I get executed by Ronnie." So I know how much this would mean for either of them to actually have the chance to go up against Ronnie. But at this point, going up for their Sorrow Bashes right now, and looks like I don't know if I think Sully went over and got it.
Roos
in a weird position.
Yeah, Roos losing a fair bit of time there. He had to go back down and basically make his way back up towards the bird. But Sully with a pretty big, costly death to the frog there. He's going to have to juggle this frog up and use it. So Roos is actually now in the lead.
Yeah, this is pretty nuts right now. And Rue's not going for crazy juggle right here, is opting for a safety save. Both of them safety
Sully
save.
with a great safety save there, taking a death.
So that's actually an intentional death. Sorry to interrupt you. That's an intentional death to reset the death timer so you can automatically just go into your ghost store as it gets over here. Only some runners do that. It's not very consistent.
Fair enough. And it looks like they are both at the tree at the same time. This is pretty insane.
Good God. And the thing is, we can't see Ori right now because they're both in a save anywhere. It's been mentioned most of the times, but that save anywhere is already hard doing that movement. But when you have these like insta-kill spikes around you, it just makes it that much more like ridiculous to work with. And it's Sully. And just as I say that, sorry, commentators cursed a little bit right there. Did Bruce mess it? Okay, he did get it. All right, he just didn't charge dump, it looks like, at the right angle.
Yep, but still making his way up to Sunstone now as Sully does his Terror Break successfully and only a little bit behind here as they'll come up to this Sunstone cutscene and go into Misty with a lot of technical movement left. We will see how well these players' stomp cancel practice has been going.
Yep, exactly. So it's going to be, I think they are going to be both leveling up Spark Flame. It looks like going through here. And we'll just try and see if we can get an approximate delta. Looks like about 6 seconds at Sunstone. So even with that death, because of Ruse's flub up, still very close race as both of them are heading down. Looks like they both got the same cycle, I believe. I'm unsure if Ruse got that, but he gets a little bit tripped up right there on the little floor.
Yep, so we'll see how both of these players manage through Misty. Roos on the left here, he's going to be making sure that he maintains his energy well so that he's able to traverse this area as fast as possible with Sully close behind. Roos having a little bit of difficulty not getting the stomp cancel at the top to the slime. We'll see if Sully on the right can gain a little bit of time there.
But Ruse does opt to place a safety save. I think he made an adjustment right there as he was going to be setting up for some, some C-dash canceling, and was saying, you know what, I need that extra energy. Let's just hold on to it, do a different set of movements, and then go drop down to safety save. It looks like he has setups for both, but Sully has had, in general, really clean movement as well, keeping up with Ruse, and Ruse is kind of known for his late game prowess, so this is really big props to Sully.
Yeah, Sully, knowing that this section in particular, there's a lot of movement optimizations that you can do to save time. He's actually put in many hours of work specifically into Misty. So we'll see, how he's able to catch up to Roos here, especially since Roos just left the tree and Sully is right on his heels.
Yeah, so right now, getting an update on people on their PBs. Ruse is actually only 11 seconds behind at C jump, and he had a really generally clean Misty, so probably pretty similar to that. And Sully was 26 seconds behind at climb. So I don't know if Sully's still within range. Don't know his comparison, but shows both of them are putting up really sick times right now.
Yeah, and Ruse, coming up to this fourth keystone, we'll see if he opts for a safety save here, and it looks like he will. He really doesn't want to lose a large chunk of time against Sully, because it's something he can't afford, as Sully takes a death there. Oh, that is really unfortunate for Sully.
Oh, God, Ruse almost took a death right there, too, though. He almost had too many hits into that the meatballs in that shaft right there. Is going to opt for an extra energy for safety. Let's see if Ruse can get this. Okay, is going to go for a slightly slower cycle. Oh, because he ran out of energy. Well, that would make sense.
Yeah, so Ruse messing up his quick kill there, and unfortunately that does open up a little bit of time for Sully. Sully with a nice rocket jump up the meatball shaft, so not having as much trouble with Ruse here, so Sully can gain a little bit of time possibly.
Yeah, had to actually wait a little bit for the front right there, but Sully's not going for it and does actually get a 1 cycle, so makes up a bit of time on Ruse right there. So that death proves not as costly as it generally could have been. And as Ruse is making his way over to the Valley Teleporter to go back to Glades, deciding where do I want to go? Where's Waldo? And decides Waldo is in Glades.
They are going to be picking up the final skill in this game, Light Grenade, and there, are still a lot of chances for Sully to catch up, but he really can't make any mistakes from here on out if he wants to, clinch the or get the victory from Ruse.
Yeah, so Ruse coming down. Let's see if Ruse can get his Yoka cycle right here. And good setup so far, does get the dashes, and very nice job from Ruse right there. Is going to use one last save anywhere to skip the racist dad cutscene, going into Light Grenade, and Sully is going down for his Yoka cycle attempt as well.
Now, there are going to be a couple decision points that these players need to figure out if they want to go for a certain amount of health nearing the end of this run. So they have a couple of options to them. They can get the 5th health cell leaving Blackroot Burrows, which we will most likely see. But the real question is, with a race as close as this, will we see any player go for 6 health?
That's a really... Oh, Ruse... Oh, no, Ruse gets hit by the Baneling right there. Now it's only a few seconds. That was huge right there. And Sully's going for the crazy... Oh my God, it's freaking tight again. Good Lord, what is this race, dude?
This is an insane race. Sully actually overtaking Ruse here. Ruse again having a little bit of trouble with the laser cycle, and now Sully is in the lead, and they are pretty much, just tied here coming in to their teleport to Horu Fields, and both of them opting for this 5th health, and this 6th health decision got a lot more important.
Oh my good God. Well, if you weren't excited already, folks, I think you should get pretty hype right here. Oh, Sully, nice. I think he got the stomp cancel in there. I'm unsure.
Sully with a slow rocket jump there. Ruse gaining a little bit of time, and this is now really close as they come up to this 6th health cell. It looks like Sully is not going for it. Ruse is opting not to either, so that makes the final escape that much more dangerous for each player as they are going into Door Warp. Trojan, how have these players done with Door Warp?
Well, with Door Warp, heck if I know, man. I'm just so crazed right now about how close this race is. I mean, this literally is about a Door Warp attempt apart currently. So, I mean, this is still literally anybody's race, and we are gonna come down to the Door Warp attempts right now. Sully with the first one.
Sully with a very nice first try. This is going to, make Ruse also have to go for it, and he does get it first try. So this is coming down to execution on the final escape.
Yeah, no, forget that meme. It literally is coming down to full execution right here, and they are in the same cutscene. They cannot take any damage. I cannot stress this enough. They cannot take any damage before that swim, and especially during the fight. Oh my good God, Sully. Jesus Christ.
Ruse making his charge dashes under the rocks there, making it through. And Sully going to be coming up to the poison water first. Again, both of these players at 5 health. They will take 4 damage in this swim. So hopefully neither will take 5.
Okay, Sully opting. Oh, gets a little bonk on the tree right there. That's
Sully
not
makes
the very.
Through.
Oh my God, he barely made it through.
And Ruse makes it through. If Sully misses his grenade jump attempt one time, this gives Ruse an opportunity.
Oh my good God! All right, they're coming up for the grenade jumps right now. Sully goes for it and gets it, and that is going to be GG for Sully, and Bruce unfortunately misses the first one. Holy crap.
Bruce with a second try grenade jump, but unfortunately that is not enough to get the victory from Sully. What an incredible race, Trojan.
Also, I think, is Sully gonna end like 2 seconds off of his PB? Like,
It looks like he might actually be, close to tied with his PB here. It's a 32:05 as his PB.
oh my good lord. I mean, I want to stress, that's freaking insane for any runner of this caliber to be within 5 seconds of their PB is just asinine. As the other person, there's not much you can really do at that point. And Ruse was also within within 30 seconds of his PB. So we got 32:07 versus a 32:16, 9 seconds apart.
What an insane race from both of these players. Sully managing to get so close to his PB. Roos was actually feeling pretty confident if he was going to be able to get a mid to low 32, he was going to be able to clinch this race, but could not seal the deal today. Whew. And we will be getting both of these players in for an interview pretty soon. They will probably have quite a bit to say about that race.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. That was that was the literal definition of Monka S. Though, like, the whole back half of that race was so insane. I had mine last night, and this just was that one. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
So, what are your general thoughts, Richard, of that race?
That is definitely one of the most insane races of this tournament. Fortunately for us, we've had, quite an interesting bracket stage where we've had all these interesting races, and, this is no exception, as we will be getting both of these players in right now. Sully, congratulations on your win. I just have, comment for you. How are you feeling after that race? It's a very cliche question, but whew, how are you doing?
I feel really good. I finally got a good race, so I'm pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, dude, within freaking 2 seconds of your PB. I want to repeat, 2 seconds, man. That's literally insane. I mean, was there any point in that run where you were like not confident in your play at all? Like, were you just like on a mission the whole time?
Once I got through the early game, pretty much once I got to double jump, actually, I felt pretty good, and then my enter Ginso split felt really nice, so I was just feeling really confident. The Death and Misty didn't really shake me because it wasn't too far off from my save, but that kind of made me a little bit nervous. I had no idea where Roost was. I didn't watch the restream or anything like that, so I just focused, and I finally had a good run. I don't know, it just feels really good. So go for it, Richie.
Yeah, and we're also joined by the Roose is Loose. Roose, you were talking about a little bit about your confidence after getting a fair amount of 32s today. Of course, Sully with a low 32. How are you doing after that race? And kind of, with those, early mistakes that you made, how do you think your performance was?
I still put up a low 32, so this is not that far off of either one of our PBs. So if you had a good enough run to beat it, hey, that's pretty dang good. I say it was a good race in my opinion. I was watching the restream and it was close like the whole way. It was crazy.
Yeah, like we were absolutely losing our backsides. Just so much butt clenching through because it's like, okay, this guy's getting this optimal movement, and then it would like seesaw back, and this guy's now getting optimal movement. It's like it couldn't have been in that end game like more than about 15 to 20 seconds apart for like so much of that run. And I want to get your take, Ruse. How in general were you feeling? I'd say around like fast stopless, like right after you got that and you knew that Sully lead, when you started to when you made up that time and got a little bit ahead, how was your confidence at that point?
Quite good. My early game, in addition to being bad, so like one of my dogs tried to like climb under my legs and get under the desk when I was in BRB, and it like completely threw me off. And those mistakes were just like rattling around in my brain early. But like once I got fast stopless, I was like, okay, this is the part of the run I know. This is like where I feel comfortable, and just like instantly settled into my groove, and I really felt good there.
One thing that I do want to talk about is the death leaving light grenade. That one was the one that kind of tied both of you guys up. And Reese, what was going through your mind at that point?
Oh, it just pure unadulterated salt. I was watching the stream, so I saw the lead I had, and I was like, okay, if I just don't soft lock, I'm probably in the clear here. And then like the baneling started rolling, and I saw the timing of it with the laser, and it was like, oh, I have to really cut this close or I'm gonna miss the cycle on the way back out. And I pushed it a little bit too far, unfortunately.
Yeah, going back to Sully now. Now you are officially through the lower finals, and you are going to be coming up in the division finals in the win back against the number 2 seed Uncle Ronnie. After you put up a performance like this, how is that adjusted your mindset going into this upcoming set of races?
I'm just shocked I made it this far in the tournament, so I have no expectations going to the next one. I'm just gonna let it all hang out and do my best. Maybe I can PB, and that's about it. I mean, I don't expect a win or anything like that. It would have to take some serious spaghetti from Ronnie, and I definitely don't wish that on him. So hopefully it's just a fun match.
Did you ever think that you would actually make it this far in the tournament? So you started the tournament with a 39 time, and now here you are in the division final, trying to get into the top 8. What were your expectations coming into this tournament, and how do you feel?
Really, I was just excited to play in a competition, I guess, and I just wanted to focus on improving my game, and I definitely accomplished that. I don't know if I really had any preset expectations, but as the tournament went on, I started getting better, and I started, expecting more from myself. So it feels really good to get this win. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just really, really shocked that I got this far at all, to be honest.
Congratulations, Sully.
Yeah, GG, man. And going back to Ruse, you're unfortunately out of the tournament now. And GG to your tournament, life as well. It was very, very good overall. You got, through in the upper bracket in the round of 32 and whatnot. And I think the question on everyone's mind is, when is your 100% run of Breath of the Wild, and when is it going to be?
Tomorrow morning, let's go.
All right.
No, realistically, that is happening at some point, but I'll kind of work my way up the shorter categories on their way to the longer ones. We'll see.
Yeah, but how do you feel about your overall performance? Is this about what you expected at this point? What were your kind of thoughts as you leave the tournament?
Definitely feel good. I mean, as far as my 2 losses, I mean, it's to Uncle Ronnie, who is the literal world record holder, and Sully. I mean, this guy, Sully, you're saying you're surprised you made it this far? Dude, you're streaming 6 hours a day of Ori practice. I'm not surprised at all. The fact that I was able to make it a close race with somebody who works that hard, I'm happy that it was even a good race. So I'm definitely happy with how I did in this tournament.
Yeah, thanks for all your help along the way too, man. I mean, you've helped me a lot.
Happy to do it, man.
Stuff like that. So I really appreciate that.
All right, Richard, any other questions for our lovely runners?
No, I'm just gonna let both of you two de-stress after that race. Maybe take a few minutes just to relax and breathe after what was one of the best races this tournament.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back and watch that one again.
Yeah, same.
Okay, and I believe with that we are going to be done for the evening with Ori. There are unfortunately no scheduled matches for Ori upcoming, mostly because we are still waiting on a couple things that happened from earlier today to go forward with it. So probably will coming up in the next couple days.
Yeah, we have a few division finals left. Once that happens, we will have our top 8 settled. So we'll see, as all of those players finish their matches, we're going to be going into the single elimination portion of this tournament. But yeah, nothing scheduled so far. And yeah, that is it from us tonight. Trojan, do you have any closing thoughts?
Just, I'm so happy I got to commentate something as incredible as this race, man. It was really a pleasure, and also a pleasure as always to commentate with you, Richard.
You as well, Trojan. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Yeah. Also, coming up, SG2, we got more stuff, Link to the Past. Stay tuned. It's good stuff. See y'all later.
Damage as they head through. So, ooh, nice job. And wow, Yoko. Oh,
No,
goodness.
oh no, Yoko. Oh my goodness. Please be careful.
He hasn't taken any like really bad deaths as a result, but
Oh no.
no! Why did I say that? Why did I say that?
Yeah, true shade. So we're gonna see what Didu decides to do. Nice safety save there, and wow, the value from the safety save.
The trick itself requires precisely positioning a frog and managing your XP, but because that can happen, because that froggy has a chair and it can stomp it right on your tiny little head.
Oh God, Milton, get out of there!
Holy crap, the recovery from that.
It's deceptive. Ooh, deceptively difficult. Rufus.
Holy
so close.
crap, Rufus.
Oh.
Oh God.
Fix it.
And what is happening now?
I don't know.
Oh, Monkey's shot going through.
Oh, he's missed the double bash though. He's gotta go back up. Monkey's shots are phasing before. I hope he does not get that on the upper one. Jesus, broken his swamp.
Oh, Monkley getting hit by the shot.
Metal that Terra did. Oh, missing that, but he's got the backup. That's okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
Terra. Oh my gosh. Okay, try again. This time you can get to the platform.
What you've seen from runners like Lucidus, Uncle Ronnie, and Eviona so far in the tournament, and oh wow, I do not know how he survived.
Both runners getting that fifth.
Oh, Randomson had a really... Wow, what a nice backup, though. Randomson had trouble with the first spider shot, but now it's basically tied.
Go stomp the rocks. And oh,
Fluffy, what
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh,
You really just keep
goodness.
moving and skip that cutscene?
Oh God, Hori's in the air. Hello.
Oh no. Oh, Frankie. Frankie, please go away. Oh, that is so painful.
Oh, this is a party. Luckily, he does have a safety.
Yeah, oh, mini boss not quite going according to plan. Melvin's gonna go with the stomp spam. Keep that frog away. Get out of here. Don't hit me with your chair. He says he gets through it okay, and we'll be just finishing up Misty.
The section is really difficult with the 5 health. Alright, he gets the bash off of the fish. So yeah, he gets through, but upcoming here is
He's spawned Kuro!
Oh, he died! Death! Richard is in the lead. No, they're tied. Richard just died as well.
What?
This is literally synced in the final escape, guys. Unbelievable.
They both stopped the thing together. Okay.
Each one of those grenades costs one. He's got one left. That's enough for 2 grenade jump attempts. If he keeps missing in that particular way, he's got one chance left.
One more.
And he gets it! The
First
clutch.
try, and well, not first try, but you know what? First try.
We'll call it first try.